We want revolution.
Bookmarklets on standby.
Log online, fan page loaded and ready.
Player stats, loaded. Health check, go.
Weapons check. Eyes check, complete.
We have launched for the Informant podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Informant Podcast, your new source for information regarding Mafia wars from Zynga. Pistol Pete from Stockholm.
Live long and prosper.
And tonight I have with me Mig, Chainsaw Chester, Jana, Mig, Death by Gucci, and Jennifer, the Mafia Wars Loot Lady. Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
Very well.
Good.
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm pretty excited. We got a special guest on the show tonight, Alex from the Mafia Wars Auto Player. So
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to talk to him a little bit more detail than we did when we're out at the PAC meeting and kind of had the roundtable conversations. Yeah, other than that, just busy trying to gear up for this mock and some other stuff. So what everybody
Yeah,
else
you've been
got
working
going
pretty
on.
hard on it.
Yeah, you've done a lot of work on. People are starting to ask if
They're
can
starting to
have
get antsy on whether or not they
Yeah.
can see it or not. I've been struggling greatly with names in game where everybody uses special characters, and so it's adding multi-language support to what I've been building, and that's proven to be quite problematic, but I think I've overcome some of those obstacles. So, and then I got to run some last-minute tests on the bookmarklet to make sure that it's ready for prime time. So
Yeah,
That's really exciting.
I can't wait to use it and see how it works.
I've got a backup plan for those people that don't want to use scripts.
It's called Under 20.
Yeah, I've always had that plan.
Submarine.
I can always go deep under, yeah. But no, we'll have a web page too that for those that don't want to use the bookmarklet to do the registration, they can actually manually register. We will strongly encourage everyone to use the bookmarklet because it will capture all the detail it needs.
Pete, what's going on at Stockholm this week?
Well, I've alluded to a little bit what we've got going on with some stuff for the mock. I know I'm doing a lot of vaporware talking, but there's going to be a really cool fight list bookmarklet that's going to come out with this whole mock that I think is going to be a major change for how mocks have been done in the past. But what I'm going to do this evening in the Stockholm Report is take a few minutes to introduce our guest, and we spoke with him briefly at the PAC. His name is Alex with the Mafia Wars Auto Player. Alex, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it was real good meeting with you guys out at the PAC last week, and we didn't get to talk too much about what's going on at Player Scripts and what the status of the auto player is and all that. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to let the community know that we're keeping the auto player running. We're looking into potentially changing or removing the hit list function from the auto player right now. It seems to be the most controversial bit of code that we have.
Oh, I was going to say, it's not possible anymore to hit list yourself, is it? Or is that where the controversy comes in?
Well, so when I put that in there, one of the strategies was you could ride the hit list, collect 50 XP, die quickly, do it again, and get, tens of thousands of experience points every day. Now that just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
And so most of the people that are using that feature are using it to annoy and harass other players.
Right.
Before we put it in, we kept it private for about 6 months. I mean, we didn't want to release that because we were afraid of the ability of people to harass others with it. But we went ahead and released it anyways because it's a valid game action.
Right. And that's a challenge that I think, any of us as scriptwriters have in the community is, what do you add that helps alleviate the clicking actions, but then still evens the playing field for everybody. It's like, we've at Stockholm have always taken a stand that we're not going to, enter in a lot of auto repeating functions in the sense of like, if you've expended all your energy, then the bookmarklet stops. You have to then restart it yourself to create that kind of human interaction. Your script behaves just as if a human were playing the game.
The rates are limited so that you can't go super fast and trigger for over-clicking. At one point we had some click burst functionality, and we've actually removed that at Zynga's request. We've got contacts there. They talk to us. We try and keep each other, relatively happy.
Right. And I think that's one of the things, everybody keeps asking, what happened at PAC, what was said, who talked to what, and so on. And I think that kind of communication of scripters with Zynga, whether or not public or not, is something that is at least happening and is important for the community as a whole. If there is something that's drastically devastating their servers from a load standpoint, and they can detect it back to a specific script or a specific action, then it's fair for them to come back to the community of scripters and say, look, hey, this doesn't work. This is really hurting us. We need to find an alternate solution. Then the question is, can they find an alternate solution that we both benefit from? My personal take is that they want to see that happen. Will it happen overnight? Absolutely not. Mentioned that 150,000 times before, but I think that there's an awareness and an understanding, I suppose. So what's the history of the Mafia Wars autoplayer? How did it get started?
It actually started off, somebody took the Vampire Wars script and modified it to play Mafia Wars.
Oh.
And it's kind of bounced around the community for a while. About a year into it, we got a cease and desist from Zynga. I had to shut down the website. At that point, we moved everything overseas to the United Kingdom, where they can't use the Digital Millennium Copyright Act against us. Since then, we've normalized relations with Zynga, right? So that they talk to us, and things are a lot better. We're out in the open now.
Yeah.
You don't have to hide the fact that you work for people that develop the autoplayer or you run the autoplayer. It's normal and accepted now. The game's really changed.
To that end, there's people that use the autoplayer not for the auto functionality. Is that correct?
Right. A lot of people use it paused and take advantage of things like, ice checks on the profile page that happen, the energy to XP, the ability for it to filter out iced people on the fight list so you just get the live ones. It's got a number of little enhancements when running paused that, even if you don't want to take advantage of all the automation, you can use.
Right.
Now, realize that there's all this automation and some people don't want that. So we've been developing a new script, and that's going to be due out probably around the same time as the Mock War. And that script is called Mafia Wars Enhanced, and it's for people who want to play manually but want a little less click fatigue.
Right. We strive to save the click monkeys.
Yeah, tendinitis.
Strive.
I have a question for you guys.
All right.
I noticed that you and Martin and Pete were able to kind of go off with Gordon, the developer / exploiter catcher / nerf guy, and talk to him in private for some time. Is there anything you can tell us that was said or what you got out of that conversation?
We actually spent probably less time talking script than we did talk about gameplay, because we were talking about things that we would like to see in the game. Search functionality on the fight list, an ice check that we could get a hold of that would make the game a little bit easier with less load on their servers. I think those are the things that I keep alluding to, that we've had this opportunity now to have these conversations that are, important, that we can have this open dialogue.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking to him for a long time, well before the pack was put together, and I've known Gordon for a while now, and so there's a history there. He's not the bad guy. We're not the bad guys. It's just a matter of it's a game. They know that they need people like us developing these scripts to make it playable, and got to find some happy medium to keep the balance.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you for answering that. I was curious.
So, Alex, is there anything else that you want to get out to the community while you're here with us?
We're real excited about the rollout of the Mafia Wars Enhanced product. Final touches going on it now. It's certainly different than anything we've done before. So
cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
So, Jen, what's going on over there in your world?
Oh, it's all of our world. Some exciting things, actually. I think we got past the whole being badgered about what exactly happened at the PAC, and I think we're starting to evolve into a committee getting organized, and we have seen some of our suggestions come into the game. I have no idea if these were things that were being worked on in the past or not, but an exciting feature that we've all been dying to have back is the remove Mafia button. And that was very exciting. But it's causing some confusion because a lot of players say, well, why would you want to remove Mafia? Well, when you get to the point where you have had to delete friends or they quit playing, well, they're still in your Mafia. To try to get rid of them, you have to delete them one by one by one, and it's a very time-consuming process. Well, now this button allows us to remove them all eventually. The way it searches, you can only remove like 1 to 400 at a time.
It's every 48 hours, correct?
Yes. Okay. So you can use this feature once every 48 hours. I've gotten rid of 700 so far. And in theory, they're having members in your Mafia that aren't your Facebook friends. They can't really do a whole lot for you because you can't post on their walls. They can't post on yours. You won't see their news feeds. They won't see yours. So for a better functioning game, it's best to just get rid of them.
Dead weight.
Yeah. And if someone notices and they try to get you to be their friend again, it just seems easier to just click a button and get rid of them. And Pete's worked on many scripts to try to help facilitate that way. We've been waiting. So now that it's back, everybody seems happy with that. The one thing people have to be careful about, and I've noticed there's an influx of people asking questions or saying, hey, they nerfed the experience ratios. Well, that's because one of those people was probably in your top Mafia. So you need to check that and go add somebody new and just make sure they have the maximum bonuses. And then nothing's been changed in the ratios. If you use that feature, go in and check your top Mafia when it's over. Another feature that only a few players have right now is they've added a tab in the account drop menu bar for Get Satisfaction, which is another sites, we've talked about it on the show, similar to the forums, but you can give your ideas and suggestions, and they have Zynga employees that monitor that site. And now you can get to it directly from in-game. So that's nice, and if you don't have it yet, you can still go to the site or go to the Facebook Mafia Wars fan page, and there's an option on the left-hand corner, and it says feedback, and then you can kind of get the Facebook version of Get Satisfaction.
The important thing to remember about that too, Jen, the Get Satisfaction has the capability, just like we do with our Spockholm user Echo site, has the capability for you to vote on specific items too. So the more votes something gets, the more likely Zynga's going to pay attention to it too. So that's something you probably ought to be aware about when you're posting your comments and stuff on Get Satisfaction.
Right, and I've seen people do that where it may be a personal issue to them, in which case you're better off going to customer support. But I've seen them kind of rallying the troops to go comment on their question because it's a numbers thing. They're going to notice which comments or which problems have the most comments, or instead of likes, it's like a Me Too kind of button you push.
Right.
Nice.
So we also have Moscow shutting down, which we predicted. And this is causing a lot of rumors and speculations, and somebody made a spoof that Mafia Wars, the game, was closing down and kind of went all over the news feeds. It's leading to a story. If you read what it says, first Cuba went down, now Moscow. People are hinting or rumors that it's going to be Bangkok next, and it's supposed to be some big grand finale and something awesome in March. And some people are predicting that it's going to be a new city. And there's little clues on the newspapers. The problem that we're encountering right now with the mission in Russia is that players who don't have a lot of energy and never bothered to do Moscow in the first place, they can't get to the consumable items needed to complete the missions without actually completing half of Moscow. It's not till episode 5 where you can unlock the bundles of dynamite. And so a lot of people are upset about this. You can ask them from your friends, but you're only allowed to accept 5 a day. So there's a lot of issues with this dynamite right now. And customers,
because you really have to do the job to be able to get as many as you need.
And if you can't get to the job because you never bothered, they are giving us 5% mastery, but that's just not enough for some players.
Right.
So I've heard customer support is working with these people that are in this position. So we'll see how that goes, but that mission's causing some problems. And they all kind of cause problems. And same with Cuba got shut down, but if you notice the missions that were in the level 100 plus group that came out not too long ago, the one where you meet Trader No-Go, Trader Go. There's the Cuba mission in there. And so I have some players showing that they have this mission, but they can't do it. So here's another case where you need to go to customer support.
Ugh.
And I know it's a hassle. Some people make a hobby out of going to customer support, and then some people think it's a pain in the butt. So depending on which group you're in.
Those that make it a hobby for the wrong reasons are what really are the people that need it.
Right. And then there's the people that don't know where to take their issues and bring things that aren't customer support issues to customer support, where their ideas are, hey, how come this isn't in the game? That kind of stuff needs to go to the forums and to get satisfaction.
Right.
We got a few more days of the showdown, and you can vote on which fighter you want to win. So who knows who's going to win, but I just say get 5 on each side and it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And that's about all that I can think of.
Well, I think it's probably a good time to take a break, so we'll be right back.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Spocklet on its 5-year mission to seek out strange new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no bookmark writer has gone before.
Humans make illogical decisions. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Spocklets Mafia tools are not endorsed by Zynga. However, they have been known to prevent carpal tunnel syndrome. Enjoy.
Live long and prosper.
Be sure to visit us on the web at www.facebook.com/mafiatools.
We're back on the Informant podcast with the family life and Miggs Chainsaw Chester. What's happening?
Not a whole lot, actually.
Surely something.
Oh, well, don't call me Shirley, but not a lot's going on. Not a lot's going on. Just getting ready for things to do in the pack, getting ready for the mock, put a logo out. A lot of people are wanting to know if it was happening or not, so I did the announcement. We haven't done registration yet because we're about to test that out, and then we're also going to test out that war module as well. So that'll be good. It'll have a good stress test. Of course, it won't be 2,400 people hitting it at one time, but let's see what happens. The mock's going to go on 17th to the 20th, so it'll start at 10 a.m. Zynga time, which is Pacific, on the 17th, and it'll end on the 20th at 11:59:59 Zynga time, which again is Pacific. But we're going to give away some lotto sets and things like that. As soon as we get the registration piece done, we'll do the full announcement. The page will go public. Everybody will be able to click on it. And again, it'll help you with the registration and automatically assign you to a team. We're going to try to keep the families together. So we are still doing the contest for the team names. We've got several good ones like Plastic Patty and things like that. Those are people of Irish descent, but weren't born in Ireland. It's also a bunch of people who think they're Irish and are not. So there's like 45 million Irish outside of Ireland. And then the rest of you people actually want to be Irish one day a year around St. Patrick's Day. So we haven't had any rants lately.
No?
So
What's up with that?
I miss some rants.
Me too.
So all you people that have something to say, throw it out there, please. We want
we
to hear from you.
I know where you can find some rants.
I
don't want to hear it from you.
The Zynga forum boards.
Yeah, well, that's all that's going on with me. So I was just keeping it short this time.
Wow, very nice.
Nobody wants to hear chainsaw chatter. So.
That's what you were the last show.
Yeah.
But
they love you.
For one in specifics, I put it in.
No, you did a good job. I was just making fun of you.
Yeah, well, people that listen, people that read your blog don't like me.
Oh, no, they do.
They like to pick on.
I would like to say, this came up, that people feel that we were focusing too much on the fighters because a lot of fighters were part of the PAC, and that's not the case.
No way.
We brought up all the important issues, And I don't, do we have to say that we told them that there's too many pop-ups? I mean, that's just kind of common sense things. And the fighters brought a lot to the table for what they are looking for, and I actually learned a lot, but it's not to say that the other issues for the everyday players that aren't in families and clans were not addressed, because
Clan?
well, some people know them as clans, Chester, so I call them both.
They're families.
And I would think, I'd say that issues from every aspect of a player were addressed at some point.
And
will be
represented,
continued.
too.
Exactly.
And the thing with clans, or I'm sorry, the thing with families that I've noticed since I've been documenting everything is that when a family puts something out there, it spreads like wildfire. Like there's a good network of the rumor mill and communications that stem right from the families. And I think this is just being heard more because more family members post and share things. That's my theory.
Hey, we had our 5K fan winners.
Sweet.
I saw that.
But, yeah, we had Teresa and Evan were our two winners. I decided to go ahead and give away 2 sets of lottos for the 5K. It was a pretty big deal for us. And now we're well over 5,100. So maybe we'll do something big at, I don't know, 10K. Congratulations to the winners.
Yeah, I saw that too. Congratulations. Well, and I wanted to remind everybody too about the meetup day on April 8th, which I know a lot of us and a lot of other people have scheduled meetups, and it's going to be really cool. And I also wanted to let people know, if you're in Florida, that John Sweeney has one on March 18th, which is a little bit before the National Meetup Day. But if you're in that area, that's when it is.
Anybody got any shout-outs tonight?
Yeah, it's my line. Anybody have any shout-outs besides me? I do. Why don't I do mine first?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, children.
I want to give a shout out to all the Miglets and the Spockonians.
And I want to give a shout out to all of my Mafia War Loot listeners.
Sure. And anybody who likes to post on her blog.
I have one. I want to give a shout out to James Solemn, which has been a longtime fan of our show, and I helped him with a war tonight, and I realized that all of us, including Mike, are in his top Mafia, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Alex?
I'd like to give a shout out to the playerscripts.com crew, KCMCL, Shy Devil, Janman, Camburger, Ronnie, Dutch Rubber, Billy Bob, Brawler, and Gibson SG. Gibson especially, he's the one busting his butt to bring us Mafia Wars Enhanced.
Cool.
Cool.
He's a cool
Thank you,
guy.
guys. Hey, Jen, where do you think they can find us?
They can find us on the web at informantpodcast.com. You can also find our fan page on facebook.com/Informant Podcast.
Or you can leave us an email at tip@informantpodcast.com.
Hey, I think you can also find us on Twitter at InformantPod.
And you can always leave us a rant on our rant hotline, which is 707-847-6852, 707-TIP-6852.
You have been listening to the Informant Podcast, the place where family is first.
I wanna cause, get 'em crashing to